Hey guys, I'm Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, and today I'm going to show you how to organize all of your cross stitch supplies and make it cute while you're doing it. And I'm also going to show you how you can store all of your cross stitch pieces once you're done. So here are all of my DMC drawers, and you're going to see that I'm very OCD, but everything I've done here is super affordable. So I got these cute little bins right here at Michael's. And the way that I have my DMC is on this, everything is numbered. So this is my third bucket and everything is organized by color. And you're gonna see that in a second. But the bottom bin is my original DMC that has not been touched. The bin that I put on top is a duplicate. So I have two of all DMC. And then as I use them, I put them on my floss flowers with the DMC sticker. And these are just laying in here. And I have a super dandy spreadsheet. And in my spreadsheet, I have a basket number, which goes with the basket number. With my red sticker, which is the bottom, it tells me how many skeins I have. And my aqua sticker, how many skeins I have. And how many on my floss flower, so that I don't have to buy extra because I keep all of my detail there. So that is my detail, and I'm going to show you all of my pretty drawers and how I organize them. So this is how my top 3 drawers look. So since I have the spreadsheet, it's super easy to find all of my thread. I know exactly how much I have. And yes, it did take me a super long time, but I kind of like that. And I'm going to show you in a little bit how you can bobbinate your thread. And everything I do in my sewing room, I like to be cute. So you're going to notice that everything has a cuteness factor to it. And here are my next 3 drawers, and that is all of my DMC. So I basically have one skein that I'll never touch, which is my bottom drawer. My top drawer is just a duplicate. And then these little floss flowers are all my extras that are left over from projects. So that is all of my DMC. Super great way to use this. Now what I have here in this drawer is I keep some of my fabrics. So I am in the Fat Quarter Shop Witchell Fabric Club, and you can see I've been using some because some are thinner. And I just keep all of my fabrics in here. And in here, I keep my extra floss flowers, extra needles, and some scissors, and just random stuff in there. And these are my favorite scissors to use. So that is that drawer. My next drawer, this drawer gives me a little bit of problems. This is the rest of my fabrics. So that is just all my fabrics, and you can see that once I have finished and cut something off, I keep my extras. So this is left over from a project, and I just keep everything in here. So it's easy to find. And here is more fabric. So I have lots of fabric, so I try not to have to buy any fabric. And again, more from my club that I have used up, and I just have a little bit left. I do keep it in the bag so I can find the color. So in here, what I have here is I put all 12 of the Little House Needleworks January through December, and these come with the floss. So I have that in there because I want to make that eventually. And here's just some other things in here that I have started and just haven't finished. But I have it all kitted up so that one day I will get to it. So here is all of my storage for DMC and fabric, and we're going to move to my next section. So here is all of my Belle Soie silk threads. They're so beautiful that I want them on display. I actually did buy this little bowl from a local furniture store. It's made by the Amish, so it's real wood. And I just thought it was a beautiful way to display thread. So you can use your thread as decoration. So the way that we do this is you just have your skein, and you can do this with any kind of fancy floss. You twist it, and then you just pull it to the back and it just kind of twists for you. And so I have this in here just because I like the way it looks, and why spend a lot of money on thread that you're not going to use. Another thing that I have that cross stitchers love is I have this little beehive, and I collect the Just Another Button Company pins. And all of these pins, the head of the pins are clay, and they're handmade by Cecile at Just Another Button Company. And I am in the Fat Quarter Shop Button Club, and so I save these. And I just love them. They're cute little things that you can put on your cross stitch pieces when they're done. Second one, and I just collect these pins because I love them. Here is my beautiful AuriFloss thread wall. My Uncle John built it and my Aunt Bee painted it. And the materials were only $180 from Home Depot. So it's just got some wood in the back, and my uncle built all of the little rows, and it has a lip so the thread can't fall off. And I've got all of the different thread weights. So at the top I've got AuriFloss, which is for cross stitch. I've got 12 weight, 28 weight, 40 weight, and 50 weight. They also built developed a 80 weight after I had built this, so I need to build me a wall for my 80 weight. So I might be just a little bit obsessed with thread. So here I'm going to show you different ways that you can bobbinate. I get this question a lot, and there's different ways. I use the floss flowers because they're super cute, and I like everything in my sewing room to be cute. Now, if you want to do something less expensive, DMC has some cardboard bobbins, and they also have plastic bobbins. And you can also buy the bobbins that are plastic with the ring so that you can put them on the ring. So different options on how to bobbinate, and you can bobbinate on any of these four right here. I'm going to show you today on my floss flowers because that's what I do. You can also store floss in floss packs and put your color number on the front. And for me, I don't prefer this because it takes up way too much space, and you can see that I like everything nice and tidy. But a lot of people do use this. So those are some different options that you can use. But I'm going to show you how you use the floss flowers. First, DMC sells these little floss stickers, and they're so awesome because you can just put the number on there. The stickers don't come off. So I'm going to bobbinate color 963. So I just find 963 on here. I like to put it at the very bottom center right here. And these floss flowers are by Holt, and all of her information is on the back. These also, the floss flowers do come with stickers that you can write the colors on and stick them on there. I just find that the DMC are easier to use and faster. So to bobbinate, I do prefer to bobbinate. There are some people who don't like to bobbinate. It's all a personal choice. So what I like to do is I just take the floss off, and then I'm going to try to just separate it in half, which of course, if I'm on video, it's not going to be as easy. So, of course, it's not going to be easy at all because we're on a video. It's a lot easier when I'm not on video. But kind of separate it into like a big ring. That didn't work. But that's what you're trying to do. And then you're just going to kind of pull. I pull everything out and just make a big line. Just get it nice. Now see, that's how it goes. So it's kind of in a ring, and you just pull it off the ring. And this is all personal preference again. But this is what I do. And some people think this takes more time. I think it's fun to do, so I don't actually mind it. So then what I do is join the beginning and end, and then I'm going to pull, and I'm going to keep it nice and straight. And now here I've got 4 strands, and I'm going to go until I have 8. That's the length that I like. So here we've got 8. If you cut the top and bottom, that's 8, and that gives you 37 inches, which is pretty close to what Classic Colorworks has on their fancy floss when theirs is pre-cut. So I have it all pre-cut. And then from here, I will take one strand out. And then I'm going to bobbinate the rest of them here. So I like this to be super neat, and I like to do it really tight. So I just kind of put the end there, cover it up, try to make it nice and smooth. And then I just use my Omni-Grid scissors, poke that in. And then what I do is I will leave one, I will just put that on the end so it's easy for me to get to when I'm working on a project. Now you saw in my little bucket, I have all of that in my little drawers. I don't have any of these hanging because that gets kind of messy in my drawer. But if I'm going to use this and I'm going to start a project, that's how I do it. So now I'm going to show you all of my buttons, and I love buttons, and of course that kind of goes with cross stitch. So I've got some Holt buttons. I have all of these Just Another Button Company clay buttons. I've obviously been collecting for years and years. So all of these are clay, and you can put those on cross stitch. I kept my little brown buttons over here because they match the bowl. I have some fabric. I have an old cross stitch piece that's kind of hiding behind there. And I just love buttons. And up here at the top, I have all of these little button jars, and all of the buttons in the button jars are from Just Another Button Company. And we have a tutorial on our Fat Quarter Shop YouTube channel that we can link below that shows you how you can make these cute little button jars with the top. And obviously on the top, I have Just Another Button Company pins. So those are super cute, and I have all of these up here, and my daughter organizes them and adds buttons to them each month when I get my shipments. She says I'm out of room, so I can't add any more, but I love my buttons. I might have a little bit of an addiction to the buttons. And then over here, I have this cute little shelf that my daughter Emma decorated, and it's kind of got a love of my cross stitch and my quilting in it. So I've got some charm packs for quilting. I've got some wonder clips that I use in quilting and cross stitch. I've got buttons, AuriFloss, a cute little decoration. I've got my alphabetties, and of course I've got more buttons. And the buttons up here are the tiny buttons, and so I keep my tinier buttons up here, so if I need something tiny for a cross stitch, it's all by color. So now we're going to show you how I store my cross stitch patterns. I'm just kidding. Okay. So here is my closet. It has all of my quilting and cross stitch. I have a lot, and I am going to be doing a video on my Fat Quarter Shop quilting channel that shows you all of my fabric storage. But since this is cross stitch, I'm just going to show you this. So I have all of my books and patterns all labeled. And so here I've got some cross stitch and crochet and various books here. And then over here it says cross stitch, and it has all of my patterns. And so these are just some of the patterns that I have that I'm kind of just waiting to make. And once I am done stitching a pattern, I do throw it away, or I would just have so much stuff. And then I also collect little pins, little enamel pins. And so here are some of my enamel pins. And like I said, I like everything to be super cute. So I turned my love of enamel pins into decoration. And now I'm going to show you some more thread, because you know, I don't have enough, right? So I got this cute little piece of furniture at a local Austin store recently. Holt and I picked it out, and it's a great way to just store thread because, you know, I have so much thread and I like to keep it organized. So in the top two drawers, I have the entire collection of Krynic silk. And I kind of just divided it by color. I did cools on one side and warms on the other. And they're easy for me to get to, and they're in a nice, they're not gonna get messed up. So I keep those in there. And then I have just started my fancy floss collection. I'm kind of new to it. So these are all my fancy floss. And of course I have a spreadsheet of everything and which drawer it's in so I can easily find it, so I don't end up wasting money on buying something twice. And then down here, I have all of the skeins of Anchor. So the last 8 drawers of this are just Anchor floss. So I will show you all of them. And again, all of this is organized by color. Lori Holt helped me organize this. So I have tons of thread, which is great because when I need thread, I know exactly where to get it. And actually the bottom 4 drawers are actually Cosmo. So these 4 are Anchor, and I forgot the bottom 4 are Cosmo. I don't have all of the colors of Cosmo, but these are the colors that I do have. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I store my cross stitch pieces. So I bought this specific piece of furniture on purpose so that I could get space out of it, and it opens on both sides, and here is all of my cross stitch. So I tried to have it wrapped in bubble wrap. So I kind of keep the ones on the bottom. This is my extra bubble wrap. And so here's some of my pieces. And then the other side is more organized. And so I just keep, and so you can see that I have everything stacked. I keep it in bubble wrap. That's one way that I store. And by keeping the quilt on top, my kids don't get in it. And it's a great way to have a piece of furniture that also doubles as storage. So here is like a little utility closet that I have in my house. And so I've got some of my decorations up here. And then I keep some of my cross stitch pieces in bubble wrap and just leave them here. And then I have a spreadsheet that tells me each month what I can pull out for decoration and where it's at within this hot mess of things that I have. And I have one more place that I store my cross stitch. Okay, so here is a piece of furniture, and I keep some of my cross stitch in these drawers. This is the Country Cottage Needleworks, the monthly sessions or monthly cottages, and then this is one of the Lori Holt stitch cards and a way to finish it. So there is an answer to one of the questions we are going to have. And then the other drawer, I also have some of my cross stitch. These are just some cross stitches that I have not put bubble wrap on. But this is Bringing Home the Tree. And this one is Christmas Alphabet. And then these are my remaining cottages of the month. And that's how I store some of those. Okay, so this is where I'm at on Prim Village. This is the week that we are on. So at the end of this week, I have to have this finished. And you can see that I'm going ahead and filling in some other spaces. So since I already did this little house, I had extra blue, so I just went ahead and did this. I am going to try to get all of the sides of the houses done. And as I do each color, I do the rows. I'm just trying to get ahead since Mania is coming up. And I've been stitching this with the AuriFloss Prim box. And again, this is Prim Village by Lori Holt. So that is my one thing I worked on this week. Another thing I worked on, here's my gray thread that I've been missing. This is Penelope and Pete by Priscilla and Chelsea, and I just finished this last night. I stitched mine on the Aqua Dyed Effect by Fabric Flair. If you wanted something similar to what Priscilla used, you could get the Denim Dyed Effect. So those are my 2 whips from this week. Hey guys, so you sent in some questions from social media, and so I'm going to answer them for you today. The first one is from Blenda Ramirez. If I make a small quilt for my wall and a couple of cross-stitch squares made in advance, can I follow the pillow instructions, or does it need extra support to prevent stretching? Thank you for all your work. So I would, if I was doing something for the wall, I would have it, you could follow the pillow instructions, and then behind it I would probably put some batting and then some sticky board, and that's going to keep it nice and flat for your wall. Elise Rojas asks, what projects do you take home for this quarantine, both in cross stitch and quilting, and the ones you can show? Because I imagine there are projects that you can't show. If you can tell us a little. Another thing, thank you for Lori's PDF patterns for cross stitching. So for quilting, I am working on a brand new book that Bonnie and Camille are doing. I have all of the blocks done, but I gotta put it all together. So I've been working on that, and there's a new release for Lori that is coming out in July. We're gonna start pre-selling in April, and I've been working on that. And I'm gonna go in all my floss in there that you just saw and kit all of the things for Mania. And then Colleen Isaac says, how did your relationship with Priscilla and Chelsea begin? So with Priscilla and Chelsea, I had just watched their videos and they talked about my Quilt As You Go videos. So I thought, well, at least they know who I am. So I just emailed them and said, hey, do you want to work together? It's really that easy. So I really just kind of reached out, and we just liked each other, and that's how it started. Nancy Leopard, how can you tell how much fabric for a project? The pattern gives stitch count, but they don't all have finished inches. I feel like I waste too much fabric. So you take your stitch count and you divide it by the Aida size. So if you've got a 12 count Aida, you would divide it by 12. If you're using linen or Lugana that you go over 2 strands, you would take half of that number. The cross stitch pattern in the Quarter Club, where do I start stitching the sunflower? Do you have a video on that? So on the Stitch Quarterly, we give you 2 inches all the way around, so you can start 2 inches from the top left. Jamie Hancock, any suggestions for stitching with white floss? So I just railroad when I stitch. So you can look up on some of my other videos how I railroad, and then I constantly just separate the threads and then just put them back together. So that's what I do, is I railroad. Joanna wants to know when the Stitch Quarterly chart for March will be available to purchase, and that's April 20th. Karen wants to know, are any cross stitch manufacturers better at cutting the fabric on grain? I haven't had any problems with it, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I think maybe linen might be a little bit harder to cut, but since I usually stitch with Aida or Lugana, I haven't had any problems. Okay, Jan Cook says she's new to Fancy Floss and she likes the effect, but she's wondering if when you stitch 1X at a time, if it uses more floss. I don't think it does, and I actually timed myself on one project versus another, either doing it by the row or 1X at a time, and it actually came out really similar, so I think it's probably more similar than we think. Cindy wants to know, I love the new to me silk floss by Classic Colorworks, but I have trouble separating it. So when you separate it, I kind of do this kind of thing, and then just get all 6 and then pull. It is kind of stretchier, so it can come apart. And she says she's having more troubles with it knotting, and I haven't had any trouble with it knotting, but when I'm stitching, I will stop and separate my threads every now and then, so that might help. Lee wants to know, how can you keep from getting sleepy when you're stitching? Relaxing but sleepy head. Thanks for the videos. Okay, I drink a lot of tea. So I would say caffeine and TV or Netflix or something to keep you busy. Someone wants to know, how long is the life of thread? I have mine in a closet in a container. I think forever. Like some of that DMC that you saw in there, I've had since before Emma was born. So some of that thread I've had 13 years. I really struggle with the best way to hold my cloth. I feel like a hoop might damage, and Q-snaps are cumbersome. I've considered buying a floor stand, but they're a major investment. Even while I take my project out of the hoop when I'm not stitching, it seems to get wrinkled. I love your thoughts on this. So I stitch in hand and I roll. I just kind of use Wonder Clips to get the fabric out of my way when I'm stitching, so that I have less in my hand, and I can do a video on that. Someone wants to know if you can mix and match different types of floss. and you can do whatever you want. Be the boss of your own cross stitch. Do whatever you want to do. Nobody's gonna notice. Nobody's gonna know. Someone wants to know when the My Christmas List Floss Pack by Priscilla will be in stock, and that should be 1 to 2 weeks. And Haley says she loves Lori Holt stitch cards. Can you show us some finishes with them? And so we have shown some finishing throughout different videos. Maybe we can link them below. But we have shown several finishes on them, and we'll continue to do more. I'm going to do some different ones in Jolly July. Do you ever make a label for your cross stitching? And so I'm going to end with that question and tell you that there is a new product coming out soon that is going to help you label your cross stitch, and it is amazing, and it is by Lori Holt. So thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back Quarter Shop Flosstube, and I'll see you guys next week.